Brandon Prust. Good afternoon, my friend.
Good afternoon.
It's
Thanks
a
for having
pleasure.
me. Thank you.
Thank you for taking this time out of your schedule to come on the show. And Johnny, be good. Without you, this would never have happened, my friend.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I was thinking with the Memorial Cup in town, a lot of excitement, the London Knights, and I was trying to think of some former NHLers and London Knights. So I thought of Brandon, and I checked him out online, and he's got this great fitness studio where we're live on location. So yeah, thank you to Brendan for inviting us out and being part of this.
It's a pleasure, my friend. My first question is, watching the Memorial Cup this week, what were some of your most memorable moments with the London Knights as a player?
Well, I mean, I went through the Memorial Cup, and that was, that my last year was my overage year, and we won the OHL championship. We were hosting it that year, so we actually went in as the champions and not the host team because we'd won the OHL. So and then being able to host that the OHL championship and then the Memorial Cup in front of my family and my friends, beating Sidney Crosby and Rimouski in the finals, shutting them down 4-0. I'd say that was the perfect cap to my OHL career.
And especially you had an unbelievable coach, Dale Hunter.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
No. One of his greatest attributes, I think, is getting these guys ready to go pro, and he did that for me. I stepped in, became a pro the year after, and I did some great things and worked my way up to the NHL, and I have a lot. I have Dale to thank for that. It's kind of turning me into. I came in a boy and I left a man. So that's one thing that they do great there as well.
Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah, no, it's amazing to see, and I know with the London Knights, you're talking Dale Hunter, and he's still there now with this year's group. So it's amazing to see him still carrying on the legacy with the next group and Memorial Cup, and they're pegged to win it all this year. Now, I think when you were on the tail end of your career, I think you were also coaching with the London Knights or helping out.
Yeah, when I first retired, I was I'd say I was more of a rink rat. I'm always hanging out at the rink, and always like being around those guys.
Those habits.
And I'm good friends with Dylan and Steady. So I'm always around the rink and learning from them. You're always learning some really good hockey stuff when you're in that dressing room.
Oh yeah, for sure. And are you still coaching, or are you?
I am the head coach for the London Nationals this year, and that will be my first coaching gig. And a team that I played for right before the Knights. I was 17 when I played for London Nationals, so kind of coming around full circle. I was going to a few games in the playoffs, and I ran into the GM and the assistant GM there, Michelle and Tony, and they asked me to do this. So I thought about it, and I think nothing better for me, or not a better place for me to kind of get back into the game and get into that coaching. So
it must be a blessing.
Yeah,
to coach something that as a kid you watched. Growing up.
Well, that's being asked. I thought a lot about it, but it's quite an honor to be asked to coach the London Nationals, who've been around for a long time here in London. So and I played for them, and it was kind of the start to my career, was playing for the Nationals. That was my first step into junior hockey, and I did great things after. So coming back there, I'm looking forward to it.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You don't have to thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Let's talk about your hockey career. I know you played on several NHL teams, including the Calgary Flames. You were drafted, the New York Rangers, the Montreal Canadiens. Did you have a favorite team you enjoyed playing the most?
Playing for?
Yeah, playing for.
Playing for. I get this question. I get this asked a lot. But for me, New York and Montreal. Calgary I love because that was the start of my career. But I really excelled in New York and Montreal, and then New York is just my favorite city. You're living in Manhattan, you're walking or just taking a cab to MSG for your games. And that was my welcome to the NHL kind of time, and that organization really takes care of their players. They treat you like a king, right? So but Montreal is right up there with New York, playing in Montreal, playing for another Original Six, playing in Montreal, great city, great restaurants. I love restaurants, go for dinner, and trying different foods, right? So Montreal's great, and then obviously playing in the Bell Center. Especially during playoffs, I don't think there's a better place than New York and Montreal in playoff time. I'm very fortunate to play for two of the I would say two of the best two cities and organizations to play for in the NHL.
What were your prep meals before the game?
I was always pretty chicken and pasta or chicken and rice. I started going more rice as my career went on. But yeah, I think hockey players are I think now if I would do it again, I would maybe go steak and
the protein.
And
protein
you kind of load up. You get your fruits in there. My mornings it was your eggs and bacon.
Yep.
And then I would always have kind of chicken and pasta and some fruit and stuff. So yeah.
John?
You following the Rangers right now in the playoff run?
I am. I was at a game in last round. I went to a game. Yeah.
My son's a Hurricanes fan, so he wasn't too happy. But good to see the Rangers again. Like I said, great organization, and here they are in the Final Four now.
Yeah. So yeah, they're playing well and doing really well against Florida right now. It's a close series. Florida's a solid team, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Sorry for So your favorite team growing up, as we know, was the Toronto Maple Leafs. And like Joe Booney, what was your experience like when you got to spend some time camp there? That was just a few years ago.
Yeah, I was. That was a pretty cool experience. I was there for about 4 months practicing with the team, and kind of waiting in the wings, right? Maybe waiting for that injury to happen to kind of get that because I still feel some life left in me. I was getting a little. I think I was 34, but I still had some life, and I felt I really could have helped the team. And but I couldn't really wait around too long. I had teams in Europe calling me to kind of come over and play there, and I made the decision around Christmas to go over to Germany. But I played I think 4 exhibition games with the Leafs. To put on that jersey was pretty cool. Yeah, it was awesome. Growing up being a Leafs fan, it was definitely a great feeling.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's Joe's favorite team. I'm a Habs fan, so that's why I was interested in the Montreal background to hear about that.
Yeah.
But, what was it like playing overseas in Germany? Obviously a different experience, different atmosphere.
It was, and that's one of the reasons I went over. It was kind of just to see, and there's a lot of guys playing over there for many years, and you can make great money over there. You raise your family in kind of a cool environment. I played with a couple guys that their kids were born over there, and they're 6 years old and they're speaking German, right? So it's a very cool thing for someone to grow up in that environment. So it was cool. It was cool to see the culture. I was in Nuremberg, so tons of history, right? There's some crazy World War II history in Nuremberg, and so I made sure I saw the sights and did all that. So it was a cool experience.
You don't take it for granted, especially in Germany. Germany's a beautiful, beautiful country.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I had a lot of fun, and I had a good group of guys, right? I had a good team. And I had some excellent Londonites, Dennis Red and Rob Shrep on my team. So so we had fun. I think we lost in the semis. So we kind of got close, but
nice. Yeah, I mean, forget North America. We think is our culture. Hockey's part of us, but we forget there's so much hockey internationally. And again, what you're seeing was with the men. Team Canada there over the weekend. Unfortunately, lost, but there's so much great hockey worldwide.
Czechs are a good team, man.
I know.
I'm telling you, Czechs are good. I like them, man. I like them. I like their hockey style. They're tough. They're like the Boston Bruins.
I have to admit, they surprised me. This really surprised me.
When they got past the back, they were gonna. Yeah, a couple guys left playoffs and went to there. You knew that they were gonna be contending.
Yeah.
You ever thought about going back in the NHL?
Oh, I think about it every day.
Yeah. Is there a chance?
Well, I played in a hockey tournament on the weekend, and a couple guys were like, "Prusty, you look like you can still play." And, I run some skates out here with a friend of mine that Chad Palmer, who've been running skates all May, and we have really good practices, and the guys are flying around. And I remember saying to them, "Oh, I wish I could put my equipment on and go grind it out with these guys," because they're having so much fun, right? So that's what you miss about the game. You don't miss the injuries and how the body feels sometimes, but you miss that competitiveness.
Yeah.
You miss being in the dressing room with the boys and laughing, and that's kind of being on the road.
I feel you, man. I played football, man. I was defensive linebacker.
Yeah.
I was never the same.
Yeah.
And I'm very young. I was like 17 at the time. I was like London Central secondary. So.
Yeah.
You're a Leafs fan. What are some of the changes you feel the Leafs need to make to finally get over that hump and reach Eastern Conference Finals, Stanley Cup? They just fired their coach, Sheldon Keefe. Is there anything the Leafs need to do to change? Because we fired Mike Babcock, we fired Sheldon Keefe, we fired coaches over the years.
Well, I just there's so much money locked up in those four guys. It's hard to. It's kind of hard to. You got not much money for the back end, right? So it seems to be something that affects them every year. It's kind of that the back end and the goaltending. Maybe not always. It's always in question, right? You never have that Bobrovsky or Shesterkin, right? You never have that solid number one goalie, right? So that's, I think, for me, it's you got to get some back end, and you got to find that goalie that's gonna carry you, help you. Right?
Like a Jake Onger. My favorite, I love Jake Onger. I don't know if he's Canadian or not, but for me, that's why I see Dallas is where they've got great offense too, but they've been phenomenal. But that's why I said with the Leafs, if they can find another guy through the system like a Jake Onger coming up, that would definitely solidify them, and then a couple more key defensemen.
Yeah, because the goalie's only as good as kind of the D in front of them, right? How guys are playing defensive, how guys are playing. I mean, look at Freddie Anderson, right? He was okay with the Leafs. He wasn't. Then he goes to Carolina. He's got a better team, and he's all of a sudden goes to like.
You notice every goal that leaves the Leafs, every player that leaves, and I bet you if he came to the Leafs and left, you would have won a cup. 100%. Look at Kadri. Who's in Toronto for years. Went to Colorado, won the cup there.
Oh man.
Yeah, he went to a special. So yeah, he went to a special team, right? Like Nas is a number one forward on the Leafs, right? Top center, but he goes to Colorado and he's their third centerman. So that just shows those teams where it's like in Chicago. David Bolin, one of my good buddies, he changed his role and became that solid third line center. Even though second and third line about the same, but he was more in that checking role. He guys scored 1 million goals for London Knights, and was this very offensive gifted player. But he was like, I want to win a Stanley Cup. Yeah. So he changed his role. Nas in that role really excelled, right? So that's how you know that those teams are going to win, because when Dave Bolin's your second or third center, or Nazem Kadri's your second or third center, you got a pretty solid team, and you're probably going to win a cup. So.
Oh, I agree, and I think the core four. I think one of the core. I think it's much more. I think you get rid of him and you pick up a goalie for 12, 13 million. I think maybe there's the core. I think if you talk about Tavares, Marner, Matthews, and Nylander for the rest of your careers, you're not going to do anything. You're going to go past round one. You're going to score 68, 69 goals. Matthews, you're going to miss 3-4 games in the playoffs, get swept, or lose one game. Something needs to change. We're all frustrated. I know a lot of fans are frustrated. I like Sheldon Keefe. I was a huge Sheldon Keefe fan. I was sad that he left, but I'm happy they got somebody else with more experience and that won a Stanley Cup under the belt in St. Louis, Missouri.
Craig Berube certainly brings a physical style of play, so that'll be interesting to see. If they can find another Shesterkin like the Rangers did, that would help them.
I can't really comment. Mitch Marner's my boy, so I'm not putting blame on him. I would move Nylander before I moved him. I think they shouldn't. I don't know. I'm not even going to get into it.
I love Marner. I love Nylander, but one of them has to go. One of them to switch the team up. Is it Matthews? Is it Marner? Is it Tavares? I like Tavares. I think he's a great leader. He doesn't need to score every night, but he's a leader in the locker room, like a Peyton Manning, like the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts. Folks, we're going to go into commercial break. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you for watching Joe Sports Channel, brought to you by Lightning in a Bottle Entertainment. We all love you guys very much so. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for a second session. This is Joe Sports Channel with Johnny B. Good and the great one, Brandon Prust. Johnny?
That's Wayne. That's Wayne.
Wayne?
That's Wayne Gretzky.
You're the great one here in London. Well, there's so many great players, NHLers, and as we've been talking about your career and this great fitness center that you got, we're live on location. That's BP8 Fitness Center with Brandon Prust. So you obviously put a lot of time into hockey. You put a lot of time into this fitness center. And what are some things to do to kind of wind down? I know you love to play golf. I wondered, have you ever thought about getting onto the PGA Tour? Or
if I was better at golf, I would definitely love to. But I'll never be close to the PGA Tour. But definitely golf is something that I love as a pastime. But now since this gym's opened, I don't know if golf's going to happen very much for me. I'm pretty busy here. Especially for the first few years. You always want to be here as much as you can and be part of all the training and stuff. So maybe one day, maybe the senior tour.
Hey, there's always hope, right? But yeah, like I said, so you're busy here with this and getting ready for the London Nationals hockey season. Probably the preseason's going to kick off in August?
Yeah. Basically, end of August, our camp starts, and I think exhibition games are pretty much right away, first week of September. So.
Yeah. Do you know any scouting before? Do you look for players? Or got people that do that?
Yeah, we're on the hunt. We're on the hunt right now. But we got people that do that stuff. But I'm trying to be the closer. Right?
The closer. That's right.
I got one more question, if it's possible. It's a 2-minute question. I'd like to ask all my viewers this, especially the Booney Believers. You better be a Booney Believer after this show. As of my fan base, I call them the Booney Believer because my name is Booney Believer. So they believe in me, they believe in the show, and we talk true sports. What motivated you to be the person who you are today?
I think my family. I'd say my parents, my sister. They drilled in. That hard work and dedication and trying to be the best person that you can be. Obviously, in the hockey world, I think my dad motivated me. I was a big hockey fan growing up, watching the Leafs, watching Wendell Clark, Doug Gilmour, and always wanted to be those guys. But yeah, I would say my family. Yeah, my family really was motivation for me. I always wanted to make them proud. They've been with me through the ups and the downs, and they'll always be there. So that's you start to realize as life goes on, your family's the most important thing there is. So, I have them to thank for pretty much everything.
Thank you very much, and I want to thank the good Lord for bringing me here and discussing this amazing conversation with you. Without you, without the fans, without God, this would never have happened. So, thank you so much, Brandon. Thank you, Johnny B. Good, my good Italian brother. And I just hope the best for you. And if you can come back to the NHL, please do. Yeah. Come to the damn Leafs. Okay, my friend? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Joe Sports Channel with Johnny B. Good and Brandon Prust.
Appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless.